Oh,
man.
how was that?
That was radical.
Mm-hmm.
That was so bodacious.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to another action-packed episode of A Crep from the 80s. And finally, we're going to talk something 80s, folks.
Man.
We're going to get back to it. Back to the 80s, where I want to be.
Yeah.
Where we all want to be, right?
I hope so, if you're watching this channel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here you
So, today's episode is going to be a part 1, because I am going to do a part 2 with our buddy Nicole.
Okay.
Because she loves the Turtles.
Oh, does she?
Yes, and she wants to talk Turtles.
Wow.
So, this will be a 2-parter.
There might even be more. There might be, hey, we go through the movies sometime and say...
The movie, yeah.
Well, there's the animated ones, too.
Yeah.
You can watch those.
Yeah, I mean, that new one was great.
Yes.
It was
so
fantastic.
Anyway.
But, I mean, that 1990, come on now. That is the movie.
I also like the other one, the other animated one.
I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't know if I still would. There's
parts of it that... The plot of it is more like, why is this the plot? Like, going back now, I'm like, this is stupid. But, overall, the turtle action and all of that, I watched it recently before the new one came out last year, and I was like...
Black Betty?
Yeah. See, yeah. And that scene is great. That scene is fantastic. But it's still a fun
How is that animation, though? Because that animation now is 17 years old, is that...
It's one of those things, like Jurassic Park to me still holds up because it's still of that time, good animation. It's not like the clunky reboot, of that era animation.
Yeah.
It's still like, the fact that they went in that direction when no other thing was doing it at that time is still pretty like, okay, that's still a cool concept. I mean, it's Clone Wars time, that same era of CGI. So I'm saying, like, it's not horrible CGI.
Clone Wars is hideous. Anyway, we're here to talk about...
Well, still Turtles.
Turtles, man. Get this. It's 40 years old.
I know. I'm very well aware of that.
40 years old.
Yeah.
That means I was 7.
Yeah.
That means I'm going to be 47. That's
really?
one step closer to the grave.
Yeah, well, every second is.
Closer to 50. My goodness, I feel 50 in my body, but not up here, and not in my heart.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow, 40 years of
years
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mm-hmm. But, let's face it, for the majority of the human race, they didn't really... get a good smack to the rib, and to the chin, and to the...
Yeah, to that one.
To the niblets, until, the end of 87, when the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, quote-unquote, movie, because they combined, the first, 3 or 4 episodes to introduce the cartoon.
Yeah.
And then we got the full-blown,
season
88 season of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And inundated with the toys and everything. I mean, Turtle Mania really took hold.
That is an accurate
and for me, honestly, I didn't even go into the Turtle lore until that time. And then, because I was a comic book reader...
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting...
But you were big...
The Mirage.
You were probably reading...
I was all Marvel.
That's what I'm saying.
Or Archies, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was or Archie Comics,
right.
Not Archies, but Archie Comics.
At that time, sure, that's it.
And it's 100% huge Marvel guy at 88, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm 11 years old, and that's what I'm consuming.
It wasn't until Image came around that I started going... there's more than these two. Let me see, and then it's Evil Ernie and all that, Lady Death and
Chaos.
Chaos. So other ones started popping up, but yeah, at that time, it's just those two.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, and especially where
We grew up.
Well,
They
you-
wouldn't
but-
get anything else.
although
I had
you
the
probably
comic book
did,
shops.
you had the comic book shops, but you know, you weren't really fucking frequenting them at that point.
No,
You know what I mean?
No.
Earlier,
no,
um,
not until the night. Not until
I mean, and then you go into that scummy, weird atmosphere. The one there,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, they got a Mirage in there.
they did.
Mirage Comics.
They had all the stuff.
Anyway,
in that
but where, I mean, we got our comics at, you know,
Grocery stores.
or we had we had across from the street from Video Connection, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was an indoor newsstand.
Oh yeah.
You go in there. They had magazines, TV
Yeah.
guides,
Yeah.
comic books, newspapers. You know, fucking
What a crazy
cigars.
Yeah,
and,
and
all that.
They had
type
them
of
in
shit.
malls all the time too.
But this was right on Main
Yeah.
Street in Wellsville. You
Yeah.
just walked in, and there it was. And I can still remember the smell of the place. But that's where I got my Fangorias and my comics and everything. But I also had a subscription to Marvel for
the house.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
yeah.
But you weren't seeing Mirage Comics in Wellsville. Hell no. So I had
Yeah.
to seek it out. I had to, like, you know, special order that type of shit back then in the back of other, like, magazines and whatnot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know.
I mean, yeah, I remember only when the cartoon came out and people were like, "This is a comic." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll go see." And then at that time, again, because I'm a dumb little kid, I only accept things in color. Black and white to me was like, this is shitty. This is a zine or what, you know what I mean? Like, this is some normal person doing this. This isn't a real comic.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I was just a dumb kid at that time. But
yeah, I mean, you know, it was just another property in the 80s that was flung into kids' eyes, you know, and
Yeah.
and became a merchandise machine. And I was right there with it, man. Like,
Oh,
you
I
know,
was.
Turtles. It was like, let's go. The next thing that we can devour in the 80s, yeah, let's rock it. It was awesome. I loved it, you know. I wasn't like a lot of, you know, I hear all these stories about our contemporaries, our buddies, our people who are sort of our age, who say, like, you know, 11, 12, 13, they kind of got out of certain things. They stopped with toys. They stopped with, like,
Yeah.
you know, cartoons.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They cared about other things. It was video games and girls and shit like that. And
Right.
I was never that kid, you know, even into my teens and
Even into your late 40s.
yeah, I mean, I never changed who I was. It
Yeah.
was like, I can have all this and have a girlfriend. I can have all this and do teen and adult thing. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? So I never was one of those, like, well, I gotta stop now. I'm 13. I shouldn't
I'm
be
a man.
Yeah, I shouldn't be looking at toys and cartoons and
Yeah.
hell no. I was all about it. So
I mean, those are my thickest years of true collecting. Like realizing if I keep it in a box, maybe it will be worth money someday. And like those were the formative years for me.
I never cared about that.
I know you didn't care about that,
Never.
but
But I did. So 13. I've
Yeah.
talked about this before, but 13 was when I stopped playing with toys and started keeping
Displaying
toys.
them.
Yeah, in like packages, or if I was going to open them, then I was going to make sure that they were in an action pose displayed with the other figures
For sure.
on a shelf or
Yeah.
whatever. But the playing stopped. But yeah, that's really when, well, the walls are getting taken over by action figure cards and whatnot.
adding shelves of
Oh, sure. Yeah, man.
especially Turtles. Like Turtles and He-Man were for me 1 and 2 as a kid. There was some, you know, G.I. Joe and Batman and other things that would Ghostbusters, real Ghostbusters.
You know, it's funny though, like your He-Man is so, it's like you barely remember it.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got.
But I remember it more than fucking he does.
Yeah, you do.
And he had so much He-Man shit.
I mean,
all of us kids did.
Yeah.
And I'm 4 years older than him, but
Yep.
I would go over, and he had like a chest full of fucking He-Man shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember figures that he was like, "What the fuck is this?" that he had that I was playing with and touching. You know, but
Like I think didn't we do a video on it?
we talked about things like that. Yeah,
But
like
it's because it kind of fell out of the collective pop culture.
I mean, by '87, it was like dead.
And
I mean, the movie sort of the movie.
Killed it.
Yeah, the movie just killed
Yeah.
everything. The line was just
Yeah.
dying. I know in like probably mid '86, I was done.
So I'm saying like if it by mid '86 you're 9,
I'm 9. Yeah.
right, and I'm 5, right? So
Oh yeah.
So say I'm
yeah.
really into He-Man still for the next couple of years after that. If I don't see He-Man again for another, 2002 or whatever?
Yeah, the
like,
2000s. Yeah.
Why would I even think about it? Like I'm going into my teenage years and everything like that. Whereas Turtles was always like, here's a cartoon,
True,
here's a
yeah.
line, here's a video game, here's a comic.
Turtles
here's a,
never went away.
It just kept and like honestly, like as I'm looking around the room, it's probably other than maybe Transformers that's really never gone away, ever. It's never like it hasn't reached some of the heights that it did in the 80s 90s, but like it has never gone.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I think of I have a fucking Turtles tattoo.
Isn't that
Love
interesting? Like what sort of
I think about that in Transformers all the time. I go, what has made these two more than anything else endure like cartoon reboot? Like it's constant.
Yeah.
They're always doing it. I think, especially Transformers, where it hits on different levels of ages. Where it's like, here's our age, here's your little kid, here's your teenager.
Because they make.
But they're smart. They're
they make
smart
something for
about
everybody.
It. Yes, and I think like Turtles will. It hasn't really done that too much. It kind of stays like within its lane, but also it's another one of those franchises where it's diversified in the collectible world, where you can get statues, you can get Legos, and I have most levels of Turtledom where like it appeals to every collector age as well. There's something for everybody in each bracket of how much money you can spend.
Yeah.
And I think that's another enduring thing like Transformers 2. You can get up to fucking thousands, or you can go to the dollar store and still get some Transformers type thing. And Turtles does the same. You can get a, mid-teen, whatever. You can get it all. So,
yeah.
It's endured.
I mean, so the cartoon...
Yeah.
Were
you as big of a fan of the cartoon?
I was.
Okay.
I was.
Okay.
So much so that when I frequently rewatch a lot of cartoons.
Yeah.
Again, so much so that for me, I can say this one does not hold up. This one holds up.
He-Man does not hold up.
He-Man does not hold up, but it's such a powerful, nostalgic thing
Yeah.
for me that I love so much that I can
I
still
actually think
watch
G.I.
it.
Joe
and
is
have
fine.
it. G.I. Joe's okay.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, G.I. Joe's okay.
Transformers.
I was never a huge Joe guy. But
Anyway,
so with the Turtles, especially the first couple of seasons, I can recite them.
Really?
Yeah, like
Shit.
just the other night, because
on that 24-hour channel, like on YouTube.
Yeah. So I have the entire set of the cartoon, and I do put it in sometimes here.
Yeah.
But at night, when Katie and I are getting ready for bed, we always sort of watch something, or she's going to read, and I'm going to put something on the TV. And most of the time, for me, it's 80s stuff. If it's not 80s sitcoms, then it's 80s cartoons. And I'll go through phases. Like I just went through Real Ghostbusters again, and I have it, but it's on there. It's on YouTube, and you can just let it play.
Yep.
And so Turtles was on, and I was like, all right. It's been, last year I watched some Turtles, so I'll put some Turtles on.
Yeah.
And it was they started from the beginning.
Yep.
And in my head, I'm like, oh, I know what's happened. I know what comes next. I know what they're about to say.
Yeah.
And there's certain inflections of the way the voice acting is that I'm like, oh, I've put that in a movie.
Yeah.
In one of my films.
Yeah.
The way that is said.
That's kind of funny.
And shit like that. And I was like, yeah, man, it was so thick.
Well,
for sure.
I love being a turtle.
Well, that was a little later. But it's just so... It's interesting what sort of I glommed onto,
Yeah.
what was like important to me at 11 years old. Clearly it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I soaked it all in as much as I could. I also had, I bought like the VHS tapes when they would come out, and you'd get like 3 episodes on a VHS tape. I would buy them.
Yeah.
For like $15, $20, whatever it was.
We could not do that.
I was just like, oh, I want it. Ooh, yes. And then this is a bad story. This is a bad kid story. This is a bad Chris story.
Steal some things.
I did. So I remember, going to Ames in Wellsville.
Yeah.
And this was probably the first series of the toys. And again, these, back in fucking 1988, these toys were $3.
Yeah.
Maybe $3.99 or something like that. They weren't a lot.
Well,
I guess
comparatively,
yeah.
Yes. It's probably $10, $15 now.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a turtle figure now for $10.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where, okay, I had enough for one.
Yeah.
But I didn't want just one. So I'd pick the one that I wanted, but then I'd get like, so I'd go to like a different aisle, and I'd start like, I'd make like coughing noises, and I'd rip them open. And I mean, this was a time where there really weren't like,
there's not cameras
everywhere.
There's not like the people who are now like undercover, walking around like looking for this sort of thing.
And I did steal some figures.
How many figures?
Probably 2.
Okay. Did you feel bad?
I did. Once I got home, I was like, oh, like.
Did you confess?
No, never.
Okay.
Just now. No, I've told people that I've taken from fucking. I mean, that was the one, like, other than like a pack of gum at like our local thing, that was the only thing I've ever stolen, but it was 2 turtle toys, and I like intricately, like, I wanted the weapons and everything, so I plucked the weapons and everything, and I'm just like shoving them down my pants. But then I go up and I pay for the one, and then I'm like, I'm riding my bike home,
As these turtles are pressed up against your body.
So.
That's funny. And horrible.
Yeah. But, youth. Stupid youth. What do you do?
Kids, man.
Everybody does something. They never give up.
I had that Turtles... I think you had, like, that case. The
Turtle case.
Turtle case?
Yeah. All 80s toys. Even into the 90s, they made cases for your particular whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Be it Star Wars or Real Ghostbusters, He-Man, G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Got a toy case.
I had all of them. I had those changing ones.
So this was a line that
was it Mutant?
Just like
It kept going.
It just kept going.
They kept.
And after a certain point, I stopped. I definitely was like, all right, what is this?
I don't know if I did
You know
stop.
what I mean? I definitely.
I think we just kept getting, because I think it just never stopped for me.
Yeah.
Like, I just kept wanting more. You know, I remember being older and wanting, because like,
See, I was
still
just
kind of want these.
I was just like, what are these characters? Who, you know?
Yeah.
I was very particular.
Yeah.
And if it if it strayed too far off of what the initial thing is,
Yeah.
it just bugged me. And
Yeah.
you know, all things did that. All toys did it.
Every single
And
long lasting line. Anyway.
and I only collected what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know. And so, you know, even as a kid, I was just very selective.
You're not getting the ones with the pizza shooting.
Hell
disc.
no.
Like, I had all of those.
I know
things.
most kids, most of the people that are younger than me, like loved all that shit.
Yeah.
Like wanted to get every fucking weird animal.
Yeah,
or weird
that's the ones like
thing
scuba. There was one that kicked
I just didn't
in the bath. I had it.
You know.
Had that blimp.
Oh, I had the blimp. Hell yeah, I had
the-
the blimp.
Had the
Yeah, the turtle
the
van. Heck yeah. I had the pizza shooter.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
that stuff was awesome. And the inner tube that had like guns on it and fucking you could put in the bath and everything.
Probably had that too.
Yeah, man, I had shit. It's just once they too many weird things, I was just like, I'm out.
They do it well. Like I remember it was a baseball line, and I'm like, I don't care about baseball.
Okay, you know what I did get? I did get the monster line when they were all monsters. I did get those.
Didn't you even get those recently?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like all the Universal stuff from NECA.
Yeah, so
Which
they
we'll
made
talk
monster
about.
ones. They made Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but the monsters appealed to me, and I kept them in box until
Yeah.
I sold them.
Right.
But yeah. So you know, it was probably just the first couple of waves, you know, and then when they started introducing fucking giraffes and fucking, you know, cats that rob banks and shit like that, I was just like,
Yeah. Is this like as a toy line or in the cartoon?
I don't even remember I don't think any of those were in the cartoon. But then again, I 100% didn't watch like all 9 seasons.
That's what
of-
I'm
of
saying.
the
I
Turtles.
think they did start adding
So,
that stuff.
I remember in the comics, because I started getting the Archie Turtles comics. It was like the Turtles Adventures.
Yep.
They introduced the Manimals.
Okay.
And in those, they put out the toys.
Yeah.
So there was like Manta Ray
Yep.
and, you know, characters like that.
Yeah.
That NECA puts out now.
Yes.
You know?
They put in the movie.
So I didn't get any of those.
Okay.
Just because they were in the comic. I was just like, well,
Yeah.
I don't, what is... You know.
What is it? Mecco Gecko?
Well, I did.
Mondo Gecko.
Mondo Gecko, I did.
Mondo
have.
Gecko. Yeah.
But, yeah, you know. But, I mean, they would turn them into fucking dinosaurs. The turtles
Yeah.
into dinosaurs. That was not for me.
Yeah.
You know, He-Man went that route. He-Man
Oh,
suddenly had all these fucking
jeez.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is stupid. This is dumb.
These aren't my turtles. Did
Yeah.
you still collect Turtles toys? So, okay, the original series ends.
Yeah.
I can't remember what comes next in the cartoon world. Is it,
I don't
is it
think
this?
I want to say the next thing Turtles was that hideous like live action show on Fox.
Oh. Okay.
Before they did a new Turtles run.
Oh, jeez.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
As far as the cartoon was concerned.
Okay.
Because, you know, 90 hits and then there's the series of live action films.
Yep.
The Turtles cartoon is still going.
Yep.
But, you know, the horizon looks bright for live action Turtles. So the next thing they do is pump out that hideous show.
Man,
You know?
that's too bad.
Which was abysmal.
How many episodes is it?
No idea.
Should we watch
But I remember being
Should
over
watch
at
that.
your house and it being on and us like making fun of it. It was when it was airing.
Yeah.
It was on, and we were just like ripping it apart.
Yeah.
This was an Olean.
Yeah.
I remember that because it was like It was the 90s then.
Yeah.
And so we were already like thick as thieves and doing our dumb shit.
Yeah.
But we were just ripping into fucking the Turtles. They had that Venus de Milo.
Yep.
Character, and the suits looked atrocious.
Yes. Yeah.
Saban did it.
Yeah, it's coming back to me. Yep, that's really bad. Well, they were doing everything.
What was it? It was the
anyway
next
in the 90s.
mutation.
Yeah.
Woo. Power
Okay.
Rangers meets the Turtles, and
Yep.
it was just fucking atrocious. Because I hated the Power Rangers. When the Power Rangers came out, I was fucking like, what? This is terrible. I was 16. I was like, the fuck? Get this out of here.
I'm
Yeah.
watching real martial arts.
Well, yeah, I was.
We're watching.
I was in
thick in
fucking-
the martial arts world.
I mean, at that point, fuck.
Guys with white hair.
Yeah, it was all that stuff.
It was
I was
all
like
of that
importing,
fine
like, all that,
wire
like,
stuff.
wire foo and,
Yeah.
and all that shit, and then fucking Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Like, this is not for me.
Which was trying to take. Well, I mean, they're really. What's the guy? Kamen Riders. Anyway, Power Rangers. We don't like Power Rangers, so we're not gonna ever
Power
probably
Rangers
talk about it
sucked.
on this channel that we don't like it. But as far as Turtles goes,
Turtles.
okay. So there's that horrible thing.
So I want to say that the 2003 might have been the next cartoon iteration
Okay.
of the Turtles.
Yeah.
Um,
Which I like.
yeah, it was all right. I definitely watched it. I don't know if I watched all of it, but any sort of Turtles thing that was coming, I definitely checked out.
Right.
Even if I didn't, I would give it like a couple episodes, and
See.
if it struck me, then I'd give it a go. But if not, no thanks. So I
So
just stopped.
why don't we talk about the movies?
Well, the movie was like,
I mean, we'll go through it. There's things in all but 3, in my opinion,
Oof.
that I am okay with. There are parts, but one is the movie is the best.
Yeah, that
Hands
1990
down.
movie was really like.
It was a revelation.
I mean, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome,
yeah.
and
And
I
they
am-
have yet to reach the heights again.
really,
They haven't. Which is a goddamn shame.
I am.
Even though there's been a lot of cool turtle shit throughout the years, actually, you know what almost reached that height was that short someone put up on YouTube
Yeah.
of Leonardo fucking beating up a bunch of dudes. Like, that made me go,
He did it-
okay,
he
just
did it with
do it.
Donatello too.
Just do it. Oh,
That
God.
guy did it with Donatello,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
Like, Adi Shankar, like, contact that guy and you guys come up with some Netflix something.
yeah, man. It's so bizarre that they just won't
It is very
just go back to that. Like, it's, I mean, everybody wants it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
So the first movie.
the movie, yeah, like
Did you see it in Olean?
no, I
Or
saw it in Wellsville. I
Yeah.
saw it.
Opening night.
I saw it all weekend when it came out. I remember I kept taking people. I dragged my Uncle Ross.
Oh.
He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You gotta see this."
Yeah.
Because not only
Uncle Ross seemed like he would like turtles.
well, he dug it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he was like, "That was cool."
Yeah.
But I was not only, I'm 13. I'm such a fucking nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Just a pop culture fucking geek,
Yeah.
and fantasy movies, fantastical adventure movies, all of that horror, everything is just my bag.
Yeah.
But so is Jim Henson.
Yeah.
And so you follow the making of this movie and Starlog and fucking any of the Wizard or any of that shit that was
Fantastic.
coming out at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing these pictures and I'm seeing Jim Henson with these turtles and I'm like, this is I've never seen anything like this before,
Yeah.
and then the movie just blows my mind, and I see it all weekend. The movie was awesome, and it, as you know, it inspired me to make my own turtle suits out of paper mache and duct tape and foam.
Yeah.
And so I made these like elaborate
They look really
turtle suits
They look really good.
because we were gonna make our own Turtles movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I had the soundtrack. Everything I could get my hands on, I wanted. You know.
Yep.
The VHS when it came out was coveted. It was like a big deal. It was all over the place. We had a huge display at Video Connection of the Turtles, and it was that you just go in and you buy it for $20. You know. Yeah, it was such a cool time.
Turtles.
I loved being a turtle then. You know, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was drawing the turtles, anything like. Yeah, it was a big deal.
But that's what kicked it like into high gear.
I mean, if they weren't making, and they were, but if they weren't making shit tons of money from the cartoon and the toys, but they were.
Yes.
Once that movie hit, it just like kicked it up tenfold. You know what I mean? Like, and at the time, it was the biggest box office for an independent film.
Really?
Because New Line Cinema. It was New Line Cinema. They were an independent studio. Yeah. And it was the first movie to hit $100 million
for
New Line for an independent film.
Yeah. That's insane.
And so, quickly, the next year, Secret of the Ooze comes out. A year later.
Well, that's New Line.
I know, but
that's
you got to think about this isn't like Nightmare on Elm Street, where they can pump them out year after year.
They shouldn't have done that.
This is like,
it was a stupid idea.
We did what we kicked the door open as far as advances in animatronics for the first movie. Mm-hmm. Let's do it again for the second movie and make them a little more streamlined. Mm-hmm. And they redesigned the Turtles, and they still look good in 1 and 2 because it's still Jim Henson.
Yes,
it was not for 3, but you know. And then at that time, because the first movie came out, and everywhere on the news, in the newspapers, it was like
Turtles fever.
But mothers were upset about the violence in the first film.
Yeah,
which caused Secret of the Ooze to be more family friendly, and that's why in Secret of the Ooze they don't use any weapons.
Yeah,
they don't use their weapons.
Yeah,
it's something else. They pick up something else to use,
like a banana,
or they use themselves and do like tricks and shit
sausages.
Like that. But there's no Leo stabbing people with his katanas, or no crushing of Shredder in a garbage compactor. That shit wasn't happening. Torture of Splinter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
liked it, but I was definitely like, this is like a live action cartoon.
I think the age difference between me and you helped me. I was just...
Yeah, most people under me love Part 2 more than I do.
I don't anymore. As an adult, I don't. I think it's a silly, kind of stupid movie. Yeah.
I mean, it's so kid-friendly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, just kind of...
It is really like a live-action cartoon.
Yeah. I hate the dancing and all that stuff, too. I hate how silly Shredder is. Like, there's just...
Super Shredder.
Yeah, like it just gets very like
Vanilla
Baxter's
Ice.
Over the top. Like it's just very dumb.
Ninja Rap.
Yeah. So, at that time though, I thought it was the better of the movies because I was more into that and I didn't realize any of the themes, in the fucking film as it is. So But yeah, no. And then 3...
3 came out 2 years later, 1993.
Is this still New Line?
It is New Line.
Yeah.
A different effects group is behind it. The
Dark
turtles,
magic.
The turtles look cracked up. Like something is real wrong with those turtles. In 3.
Yeah.
It sucked. I remember me, Brad Goff, and Fred Perry went to see it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's dead. The turtles are over. It's dead. It's like, it's over. You know, and again, we're fucking 16, you know.
Right.
You know, like it's long gone are the glory days of the turtles.
Yeah.
You know. And that was, I mean, really, that was it for me. I was like, done. I was like, the turtles are done. But then new stuff would come out, and then I'd check it out, like I just talked about, you know. The hideous live-action show.
Right.
Which I definitely only watched like a couple episodes.
Yep.
It was just like, this is tremendously repugnant. But again, it wasn't for me. You know.
It was for anybody.
It really wasn't for anybody, but I could see their thinking, hey, this is for kids.
Yeah.
Like, to your point earlier, like, it just kept going. Turtles did not die. You know, it just
so the next
kept reinventing itself.
Yeah. The next movie was the CGI movie, right?
Yeah. But that was a long time.
That is a long time. A very long time. That we see a movie movie on the big screen. So we went and saw that one together, I think.
Yeah. It was terrible. That was also like a what am I thinking type of thing.
What do you mean?
Because if you remember, this is terrible. Everyone I've told this story to is like, you idiot. But
do I know this story?
Yeah.
I feel like I should.
So, do you know what the opening day was?
Was this the day that it was like River was born?
Yes.
Or something like that? Yeah, now I do remember you telling me this story recently. Yeah.
This is
I remember being like, this is this fucking worst day of your life to go to the movie.
This is the day my son is born. And
celebration.
And I had been up probably 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it was a crazy fucking 50 hours of labor for Lauren.
Ooh. God.
And it was a home birth, all natural.
It's ridiculous.
It was nuts. It was nuts. River arrives early. March 23rd, 2007. And like
I already had tickets to go see the
we did
Turtles.
So in my mind I was like, I need to get out of here.
The comments are going to be very
I know
very mean about this.
I was just like, I have to breathe. I have to I couldn't quite grasp the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Lauren was okay with it. Her mom was there. Her sister were there. It was me basically saying, now I have to catch my breath,
Right.
And all through the movie, I'm not even thinking about the movie. I'm barely paying attention to it.
Right.
I'm like, I thought this was going to
Get your
really
mind
sort of
out
decompress me.
Yeah.
So I can go back fresh.
Right.
And hold that boy in my arms and everything. And not that I didn't before I fucking left, but I'm just saying, like, wow, I have a son now,
Mm-hmm.
Which I did anyway. But I mean, it was just stupid. I don't know why I did it.
Well,
again, at that time, I knew why I did it. But thinking back, I'm like, what a dumb thing to do. I could have just gone for a walk, or just and it wasn't like a oh no, my life is over type of breath. It was just like, wow, we just went through so much. This is life changing. Now my son is here, and I I want my space real quick, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess that was in a movie theater watching the Turtles movie.
Having not even a fun time.
It wasn't that it was fun or I was like, I just wasn't there. My mind was totally like not there. Thinking that I could decompress, but all I could think about was my new baby, you know? So.
Hey,
Such a stupid thing, and I regret it now. But
what do you get?
You know,
You did it. You had, you know.
it's just like so.
I guess I'll say this as somebody, you know, one of the only other dads in the group. You know what I mean? Other than what, Brad? I guess
Billy,
right? Yeah, Billy. It's heavy. Like, I watched my daughter get born, and it was horrifying, and you know, also the best day of my life and all of that, you know, like, it's a world of emotions all together, and you do need it, you know what I mean? And like in retrospect, no, you would tell younger self, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's like, it's a lot to fucking process, and I don't blame you for that, in a sense of like, you did need to get away, probably. Maybe you could have done it a different way, but that's what you did.
If it weren't, I mean, if her family wasn't there,
yeah, of course.
There's no way I would.
Yeah.
No way.
But if she also was like, "Hey, I get it. Go away for a couple hours."
Yeah,
like,
they
I'm
definitely.
just gonna fucking sleep
they all were
or
like
whatever. Like I
do what
kind
you
of
need to do,
understand.
you know?
I understand that, so I don't. You know, I wouldn't regret it as like a deep rooted like you're gonna.
No,
die
it's
with
just
pain.
it's so frivolous, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like. You know, it comes off. It can come off as like, "Ooh, the new Turtles movie is out."
Yeah.
I gotta go, babe. You got this. You know.
But that isn't what you.
No, not at all. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was a fucking Turtles CGI
So
movie. You know, but
after you had some time to watch it again,
I liked it.
Like, you like it.
Yeah, I definitely liked it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah.
But at the time, yeah, I dug it.
I really liked that it did step away from being too cartoony. You know what I mean? Like, now watching it, whatever, 20 years later, it is kind of cartoony, but there was still like enough of they were adult teenagers or young adult teenagers. They weren't just kiddie teenagers, which is what we get in the new one, but you know, we'll talk about it in a second. And you know, so I kind of liked that brotherhood aspect of it, and I don't know, I like that movie. I think it's a good depiction of the Turtles dynamic.
Yeah. I just, gotta see it again.
So then Michael Bay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many other cartoons came out between the
They don't.
movie and the Michael Bay thing.
They don't. It's not until after the second Michael Bay do we get Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that's on.
Well, there was
Netflix.
Turtles before that.
For
There
movies?
was a No, not movies. I'm saying like.
Oh yeah,
on TV.
No, sorry. Yes, on TV there is. Yeah.
There was. I'm saying I can't remember which iteration came out between. Between the 2007 and the Michael Bay movie, there was like.
There is. I can't remember the name of it either. So there's like this one ends, and then there's another like more cartoon CGI version, and then after that is the Rise, the anime version.
Yeah.
So it's that more cartoony.
It was the one it was Nickelodeon.
Yes,
that came out, and like Sean Astin was Raphael.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And again, all of these I kind of checked in a little bit here and there.
I like that one.
Nothing enough to really get me to watch, over and over.
Right. But was River into it at that
Absolutely.
time? Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I mean...
Does he still like Turtles?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he loved the new movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything Turtles. I think anything Turtles, anything Transformers, anything Ghostbusters.
Those are
he's gonna be
core memories.
He's 100% on board.
Yeah.
He's always gonna see those films.
Yeah.
So
All right, so we definitely went and saw the first
The Bay one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I remember going, it's okay. I did not hate it. I know
Yeah.
people hated it.
I didn't hate
those
it either.
movies.
But I don't necessarily think it's a great film.
Yeah. Did you hate the look?
I remember
Because I don't own any of them.
Being-
I don't own them.
I
That
remember
look.
being kind of off. I'm 50-50 with it.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, this is really when like the internet started like the hate really started building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hatred.
Hatred
If-
of their property.
Yeah.
Their
if it
properties.
didn't look like anything that they grew up
Yes.
with, then it's like,
Yes.
you know, this is when 35-year-olds start complaining that why are these properties that I liked when I was a kid, why are they changing?
Yeah.
And not-
yeah. Transformers
and
is
completely
as well.
like
Yeah.
disregarding all of the kids growing up who want to also enjoy this type of
Right.
stuff, you know.
Right.
Not everything's made for you, dude.
Yeah.
And so I'm never that guy. I've never been that guy. I don't care what comes out with the properties or not.
Some hit with you. Some
Yeah,
don't.
that's it.
Yeah.
And I just move along.
you just
I
don't watch that
care.
version.
I don't care.
Yeah. I agree.
And so I definitely didn't hate it the way people fucking hated it
yeah.
and those designs.
We also don't hate Michael Bay.
yeah, we don't hate
Like,
Michael Bay.
there's people who just intrinsically don't. They just hear Michael Bay and they're like, "Nah, this is gonna be fucking garbage." And it's like, okay.
I think I got what they were doing. You know, it was really like, okay, what would mutant turtles look like?
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Right. Right.
So they really took it
Anthropomorphic
to a
turtles.
real place.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, this is also the real time when Batman is.
They also
really-
like, you know, bulked them up to insane proportions.
They gave them the power of the Force.
And they didn't really feel, again, like, you know, they definitely didn't feel like teenagers. They felt
these
like
are like 35,
25-year-old turtles.
Yeah,
You know,
they're not teenagers.
But there was some things that I liked about it, and definitely the dynamics of the turtles was spot on.
Yep.
When the second one came out, I found myself a little more entertained by the second one
I like the second one.
because of how they sort of
They go more
leaned
over the
into
top.
the cartoon
Yeah.
aspect of it. I mean, we had Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Baxter Stockman was in it. Krang was in
Yeah.
it. And Krang sounded like Krang.
Yes.
And he had his body.
Yeah.
You know,
Is robot.
so like that part of it is fun.
There's some thrilling sequences in both of those
Yeah, for sure.
that I
100%
remember
there's-
seeing in the theater and going. There's like a snow mountain
In the
scene
first one,
where I'd be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Fuck it, hey!" Like this
The second
is
one
cool.
is the plane.
Second one's got a couple. Like I like the Bebop and Rocksteady going after Casey Jones, which I love Stephen Amell, but I hate that Casey Jones.
Oh my gosh, he wasn't even Casey Jones.
No.
He was just fucking
Casey.
Stephen Amell.
yeah,
No,
yes.
it was just Stephen Amell.
He was.
I
It
mean,
was
there-
not.
There was
and
no
I don't really like.
characterization.
Uh,
Oh my gosh, Megan Fox is fucking so miscast.
yes.
She should not have been in either of those
Yes.
films. She
Yes.
did not. Just weird.
Yeah.
You know, that's Michael Bay as a producer.
Yeah.
That's like,
I-
"Ooh, this is hot. This will work.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
That's
this. You know, like,
famous, but
and it's funny. Michael Bay did not direct either of those films,
No.
but boy, does it look like a Michael Bay movie. Both of them.
yes.
Beautifully
Beautifully shot.
that way.
There's angle. You know,
action
there's
is weird and dynamic.
yes. Yeah.
So you can tell
The fighting is very much like a Transformers fight scene.
He was breathing on the director's neck.
Well, it's like when Zack Snyder produces something. It looks like Zack Snyder.
But so there's things in both of them that I enjoy. I don't own them.
I don't own them either, but I have watched them.
I don't know if I would go back and watch them fully, but I would be like, you know what, I'll watch this action scene again, and maybe find it on YouTube or something, but I don't know if I'd own it.
They're on, I think Tubi or something, because I did a marathon of Turtles before the new one, and I just, for those ones, I just had them, I'm folding laundry and watched them. But they're fine. I like them. I don't have anything against them. One is worse than two. Yeah. And then this one. Right?
Yeah, then the new one.
Well, right, because Rise didn't go to theaters. Which I loved.
I really love this new one.
Really loved.
Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
They were teenagers.
They were definitely, for the first time, right?
They
ever.
Embraced, all the weirdness of the cartoons. They embraced the comics. They embraced everything. Everything was in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And, all of Turtledom.
I loved the animation. Really fun. Really fun. Great voice acting. Yeah. Totally dug it.
Totally tubular.
Totally bodacious. Bossa Nova.
Yeah, that was just. I had a feeling watching the production of this and seeing Seth Rogen's, leaking things, and he really seemed to give a shit about the Turtles, and he really seemed like us, like a lifelong Turtles fan. And you can see it in that movie because it's really everything. I don't know any Turtles fan who didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I really read any bad anything about it. Yeah. So, and I like now we're in a weird space where that will continue, because it made money. And then they're also going to do some cartoon,
Oh, it is. Yeah, there is
reboot.
Another cartoon coming.
Well,
another series.
But also, I think they're going to do something with the Last Ronin world.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Like the movie's the movie. Like that's that. And then we're going to get a cartoon kid thing. And then I really think I remember talking about or whatever. I think a Last Ronin for us. Like something a little bit more. Well, there's the Last Ronin video game too.
Oh.
There's going to be a video game that takes place in that world.
I would rather have an animated movie or something like that.
Oh, me too.
Like a hard.
But they've been really leaning into get whoever did the YouTube thing to do the Last Ronin shit with a costume.
Yeah.
Who's the costume people on Instagram? Remember the people who make Turtles costumes now?
Oh, I don't know. There's a couple.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there's still people actively being
I mean,
Turtles.
they're not as good as what Henson did.
Of course not.
But
that's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's Jim Henson.
There's a part of me that wishes we could get that. One more movie in that style. People in suits.
You don't think we'll get that?
I don't know. I mean, we're 40 years in and we haven't,
Touche.
That movie was 1990.
Yeah.
And
for
some reason, people are like, no, why would we want to go back to that? Why would we want to go back to the thing that every fucking Turtle fan loves?
That's the thing that's really weird to me.
That first movie.
Yeah. And it's what's so fantastic about what they did with Afterlife of Ghostbusters. They finally just did the thing we've been asking for, that you've seen comic books do, that you've seen cartoons do, and video games do, and everyone going, yep, Do that. Just do that thing. So yeah, with Turtles, yeah, we've been asking for it forever. Like, could you just do another man in suit thing? And
We got to get somebody in charge.
we gotta get Seth Rogen.
Who is Man, you are
Clemson?
man. Look at you.
Yeah, boys.
Don't even bother.
Well, they're fine. They're Turtles toys. All right, go on. Someone in charge.
Who's of our age range, who is like, I want to see this.
But I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
But why not? It
I
could.
don't know.
It could. I mean, look at the people who, look at Netflix, for instance. Like, all the people who sort of brought back He-Man because they were lovers of He-Man and they were in position to say, we're going to do this. We're going to try this.
Right.
Even with Dark Crystal,
I know, but have these gambles paid off?
I mean, look, we're on the cusp of Revolution.
I know we are, and then it's done.
Animated show.
I know, but that's a continuation. It's not a new. It's like they shut down the movie.
Yeah, well, but the movie is
over at Amazon.
The movie is now moved.
Yeah,
and as far as we know, those directors are still attached to the new home
iteration.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I don't know, but anyway, I guess I would be okay if we were blessed with the Turtles looking like they did back then, like those
CGI.
Yeah, I think that would be cool because that guy on YouTube who did those CG action scenes with those designs. Clearly it can work. Clearly it's like badass and fans have went ape shit for that. Like it's like take that and do it in a movie, like,
or just like it's okay. I think we're kind of getting to a point in animation where it's getting finally like the accolades a little bit that it deserves. With Spider-Verse and now Turtles and stuff like that, really like saying, hey, Pixar's not the only people who know how to animate things. Yeah. And now Pixar's gone downhill because they aren't pushing things like these other studios are. So like, I think there could be a real CGI Turtles in that vein, where we see like a full movie and they don't just, maybe they actually do give it a theatrical run. It'd be great. Whatever.
We'll see. Yeah. One thing's for sure, it ain't going away.
It's not.
This is a property that, we're going to be 50 talking about. Well,
yeah,
that's a few years from now. 60! It's just never going to go away.
What's your favorite Turtles thing that you have or
that I own?
Seen or
what you talking
touched? About? Yeah. Like, other than the movie, like, what's the best Turtles thing to you? The music?
No.
The tour?
I love the action figures.
Yeah.
I love that NECA sort of... what they did sculpture-wise... detail-wise with
these,
with those, but even the 7-inch that came out that look exactly like them. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. So
yeah.
I love, and I'll show clips of what we're talking about, but I love the NECA Turtles, the live-action movie Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're beautiful. I really do. I think they're like fucking from like the Henson.
One of my biggest regrets that I don't have those.
From the Henson archives of design right to NECA's sculptors, like,
yeah,
it's insane how accurate they are to the movie Turtles, the '90 movie Turtles. and I, and I'm not I don't collect full lines or anything like that. I have no interest in getting all of that stuff. But those 4 main turtles up there, the big ones, are pretty. I'll never get rid of those. You know what I mean? They're fucking amazing.
Yeah,
they're just
they
so
are.
cool.
They're some of the best.
So yeah, I love them. They're great showpieces. They're yeah. So I don't know. But again, I've got, and I love, I talk about this every time I talk about toys now, but everything that we grew up with, like, is here again. And if they're not doing amazing new variations of them, they're putting out reproductions of the original stuff that we grew up with.
Yeah.
And as a fan and as a geek and as a lover of that stuff, I welcome it. I think it's wonderful. Because not only is it nostalgic, but it's a way for us fans to gather that stuff and not pay an arm and a leg for it from nostalgia taxers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's for me, it is enough, like the original, that I'm happy with it. That I can go into a Walmart or a Target and once again on the shelf take that turtle down and be like, man, it's right here. Like, this is it. This is the turtle in package. I'm going to take this home. It cost me $10.
Yeah.
$10. And it's essentially the same figure. Like, I love that. And I love that with any of the lines. Like, they're doing it. I mean, every toy company is doing it.
Yeah. Because they see that people are buying it.
So
yeah,
I love that. Everything old is new again. I always say, like, us 80s fans, 80s kids are eating well. We're eating well. We never have not eaten well. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I always say
lived a life of
the 80s
plenty.
were the greatest fucking decade ever. Pop culture wasn't even a fucking thing, really. There was pop culture before the 80s, and then there was pop culture.
Yeah.
Everything in the fucking 80s is popular. You know what I mean? Like, it just keeps recycling. And it's never going away. And it's not like the 90s. It just isn't. It just, What do you get in the 90s? What? They can bring back fashion and music, right? That's fucking it. It really is.
No.
Think about it.
Listen.
Think about it.
No.
What from the 90s is prominent right now?
Prominent right now, you mean?
What's the last 10 years?
I don't know. Yeah.
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 But what is?
Everything
from the fucking 80s.
Well, you're not... I'm on the same side.
No, but I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
if you can prove to me
No, I'm
that
trying
everyone's
to...
capitalizing on the 90s,
No, they're
you're
not.
out of your mind.
Not in the same way. But who would say that?
well, nobody, because they can't. Because they can't. Somebody who would say the 90s was the greatest decade. Fuck you, you're wrong.
I don't know anyone who would say that.
Well, 90s kids.
I don't think they even would. But it's like, because, to your point, it's like, yeah, you might get a Rugrats reboot or something like that every decade or something, but it's still not like the 15th iteration of, Ghostbusters or Turtles specifically.
You 90s kids got Good Burger 2.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
That's it. And no, but that's a shame. Like, we might get new Goosebumps. There's certain little things that have... maybe Goosebumps is actually a good example because it has lasted the test of time, but...
Well, Goosebumps was good.
It is good. But there's not a ton of things from the 90s where... Even franchises, you know what I mean? Like The Matrix, Like, there's really not even a lot of that kind of stuff that's lasted. Scream. For sure. Scream.
Well, again, somebody like me, it's not good. None
It's
of that
not
shit
good to
is
you, but I mean, like,
none of that stuff.
there's
is
just
good.
not a lot that has the same... None of it has the same, like... Scream is not Freddy. You know what I mean? Like, and I love Scream. I love Scream, but it ain't pretty.
No. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Anyway, but this is Turtles
Yeah, but so
thing. So your favorite things are these NECA 12, 15,
I don't even know what they are. 18
18-inch
I think
one.
they're 18-inch.
So I remember seeing NECA's, and Chris showed me pictures. He went to the NECA factory. So they make them this size, and that's the mold size. And typically, those don't do anything. They just make the mold of it, and then they just put it away. And then this, I think, was the first changing of the tide where they go, well, what if we just sell this thing? And they took, 5 years or more? I don't even know how long it's been to finally put them in the 7-inch. Because I've seen, like, giant, Superman and other guys that they don't have in this scale, but they're at the 7. So they just do the molds for scale. But these are fucking great. And every other ones that they've done since then of this size, like that Penguin from Batman Returns, which is just and her and
Catwoman.
like I would love
Great
both of
sculpts.
those as well, like just insanely good sculpts.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think for me, it kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier with toys, where those like pizza shooting ones and mutagen ones, like I still collect turtles that they're more like the fan art versions. Like there's a company, 5K Toys, that's putting out turtles lines where they look more like samurais. I just like that look. I like, I've bought not all, but like a lot of the Mirage NECA ones, because I also am like, okay, but I like this, you know what I mean? Like, and then I also like the cartoon, and then I also so I have like a bunch of different mishmash versions of the turtles that aren't specifically to like the one line. I just go, oh, this is a cool looking turtle. I like this version of Raphael, so I'm gonna buy this version.
Yeah,
and I love that they have so many. Turtles.
I also I'll say that I love the new NECA Turtle Monster line.
Great line.
I think that's
Smart idea.
I think they're gorgeous
Genius
action
idea.
figures.
Yeah.
Really beautifully sculpted and just clever integrations of the monsters. And
They cared about that line. Like,
I
they
mean,
really
it's-
did, like, think about what these fuckers look like mashed.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's-
They
yeah.
did such a good job.
Yeah, especially the creature. That's
I have all of
I
them.
was
but
waiting for the creature.
Yeah,
That's the best.
I don't have Casey as the Phantom, which I want to get.
Yeah.
I need to get Donatello as Invisible Man,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to get the new.
Bride.
No, I have
Oh, okay.
April. I need to get the creature,
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo, and I need to get Wolfman, Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm.
But I have all the others.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
a
want those
good.
three. But they're beautiful. They're so awesome.
Yes, they are. I even like that. Splinter is.
I have Splinter as Van Helsing.
Yeah, like that's
it's cool shit,
genius
man.
idea. Yeah, they just it's a good time to be a Turtles fan right now because the comics are doing well. There's a video game in the works. Like all these, there's movies, there's cartoons, there's toy lines. Like if you are a Turtles fan, like this is a very good time, and it really doesn't go away.
No, it's
It's been pretty omnipresent. Oh, there's a new comic book. So Jason Aaron, who did one of the greatest Thor runs of all time, is now taking on Turtles. And that got announced last week, and Chris and I were like, oh, fuck! Like,
interesting.
who
Is
knows
that-
what that's going to be like?
Yeah, that's separate from the
It's-
Laird,
There's-
Eastman and Laird line.
Yeah,
The Ronin
there's...
stuff?
Yeah, there's like a Young Adventures thing that they do. Then there's the last Ronin shit that they've been doing. And then this will... We
This
don't
is
know.
just a new-
This is a new IDW. We don't know. They haven't announced the artist. He's like, I'm keeping it a secret. So, I don't know. But I'll get that number one, at least, and see what he decides to do with the Turtles, because I love Jason Aaron. I think he's a great writer, and can't wait to see.
Sumptuous.
Mm-hmm.
40 years and no sign of stopping.
No way. Keep it going.
They don't look a day over 15.
Some of them do.
Well, yeah. At least in the new movie,
They don't. Yeah.
They are teenagers.
Most of the time, they do.
Yeah.
Even the '90s movie is not a teenage problem sort of situation.
Yeah.
But we still love them.
Wow.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Amazing.
So subscribe. Tell your friends.
You gotta let us know, man.
I would
assume
I was gonna say,
you
talk
guys
to us
love
about
the turtles. I would assume that it's something.
Absolutely.
You know who the turtles didn't hit was Bobby. Bobby has never been.
Did you do a Turtles
guy.
episode with Tom Strickland?
Did we? Maybe
think
we
you
talked
did.
about turtles. I mean, I'm sure we talked about a bunch of stuff.
Anyway, but Bobby doesn't like turtles, huh?
But I mean, Tom is even younger than you, right?
He is, and he is a hardcore Turtles fan.
So I can see where his fandom would come.
Yeah.
But Bobby is not a turtles guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's one line that he just didn't really care about. So.
Okay. Well, let us know.
But there are fans out there.
There's massive amounts of fans. So
let us know.
Yeah.
What is your turtles memory?
Mm-hmm.
What brings up nostalgia dreams when you're thinking about the heroes in a half shell?
You. Your paper mache movies is what they think about.
Gosh. If I were motivated, I'd try to find
digitize
some of that
them
footage and put some in here so you guys can see that when we were talking about it.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah, I probably won't have that motivation to do it. I still have the footage.
You do.
I do have the footage. But,
Yeah. Maybe you'll put it up as a separate thing sometime.
Maybe.
But thank you guys for watching, subscribing, sharing, share with all your Turtles forums.
Yeah. Listen, we're, once again, thank you. Our numbers keep going up.
That's it.
Again, we're so close to 3,000, which is awesome.
And we'll have a giant party.
Maybe. Yeah, and again, I'm going to be doing another episode, which is a little more person-centric. Nicole...
About me?
No, Nicole has a history with
great.
turtles.
Okay.
I should probably do one with Clint, too, because he's also a huge Turtles guy.
Spread the Turtles
and
love,
he has
man.
some
He's
very...
got some stories.
He has told me some of his turtle memories.
Perfect.
But, yeah, so there'll be more turtle stuff. There's going to be everything. We're going to be talking more He-Man, and Ghostbusters is coming up, so there'll be some more Ghostbusters.
That's true.
And I got a Thundercats one coming up, and all sorts of stuff. It's
Nightmare on Elm Street's this year? Right?
Yeah, 40 years. Well, I mean, we're going to do the 40 years thing.
Karate Kid?
My brother. I've got a whole...
All right.
I've got a whole
All right,
list.
so there's a lot of things to talk about. And
it's because we're celebrating 40 years of one of the greatest pop culture years
of all time.
In the greatest decade of all time,
That's
1984.
True.
So much amazing stuff came out in that year, and we're celebrating this year. So, a lot to look forward to. And I got a Saturday morning sleepover coming up this Saturday.
There you go.
And I'll be shooting some stuff for that. Yay!
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. All right, we got to go kick some foot.
Yeah. Heroes in a Half Shell.
Let's go open some Ralston cereal and Papa Crisp Turtles pudding pie. That pudding pie with the green pudding.
Oh, those melty eyes. I love it.
Well, that was the that was the pop. I'm talking about the Hostess pudding pies. They had the green pudding inside.
I don't think I would eat that. That sounds.
I loved it.
Yeah, you like pudding.
Crazy. All right.
Okay, bye.
See ya.